40,000 years ago, someone looked down at their own bare foot and made a decision that would reshape the entire human body. They covered it. Scientists found a clue hidden inside Ice Age skeletons. Toe bones in certain populations suddenly get thinner and weaker compared to earlier humans. That sounds like bad news, but it's actually the opposite. Something else had started absorbing the impact instead of the foot. Leather rots, bark disintegrates, woven grass turns to dust. The oldest surviving shoe ever found is a sandal woven from sagebrush bark sitting in a cave in Oregon for 10,000 years. Older than writing, older than the wheel, older than farming. Once shoes appear clearly in the historical record, they stop being about survival almost overnight. In ancient Egypt, sandals become a luxury item. Some pharaohs kept a servant whose entire job was to carry a spare pair, ready the moment the ground was considered unclean. Rome took it further. Senators wore sandal boots that regular citizens were legally banned from wearing. You could identify someone's rank just by glancing at their feet. By the medieval period, laws regulated how long the pointed toe of your shoe could be. The higher your class, the longer you were allowed to make it. Some styles were so extreme, the tips had to be tied to the knee just to walk. In Imperial China, a practice called foot binding began around the 10th century. Young girls' feet were deliberately broken and wrapped small. It lasted nearly 1,000 years and was seen as beauty, not cruelty. In Europe, tightly pointed corseted shoes cause similar permanent damage, deformities podiatrists still treat today. For most of history, shoes weren't built around the human foot. The human foot was rebuilt to fit the shoe. The high heel wasn't invented for fashion. It started as military hardware. Persian cavalry soldiers wore a raised heel specifically to lock the foot into a stirrup for stability while firing arrows at a gallop. When Persian riders brought the style to Europe, aristocrats liked how it looked. A longer leg, a more commanding posture. So they stripped away the function and walked into ballrooms wearing battlefield equipment. Within a generation, nobody remembered where the heel came from. Only the look survived. Centuries later, in the American West, a very different boot was built for a very different kind of survival. A tall shaft, a pointed toe for the stirrup, and a raised heel to keep the foot from sliding through. The same core idea as the Persian heel, invented independently, 1,000 years and half a world apart. For most of human history, shoes were symmetrical. No left, no right, just identical shapes. It wasn't until the 1800s that shoemakers started producing mirrored left and right pairs. Around the same time, machines like the Goodyear welt stitcher made mass production possible for the first time. Before that, every shoe on Earth was made by hand, one stitch at a time. At the same time, factories exploded across America and Europe. Workers stood on hard concrete floors 12 to 14 hours a day. For the first time, comfort became a necessity, not a luxury. Decades later, world wars pushed shoemaking even further. Soldiers needed boots that could survive mud, frost, and thousands of miles of marching. Rubber soles, reinforced stitching, and waterproofing techniques developed for the battlefield would quietly outlive the war itself. When soldiers came home, those same manufacturing techniques flooded into civilian factories almost overnight. But the most explosive rivalry in shoe history didn't come from a war. It came from two brothers who stopped speaking to each other. In a small German town, Adolf and Rudolf Dassler ran a shoe company together until a falling out during World War II split the family in half. They built their factories on opposite sides of the same river and never spoke again. Adolf's company became Adidas. Rudolf's became Puma. Decades later, a track coach and his former runner started their own shoe company out of the back of a car. Bill Bowerman poured rubber into his wife's waffle iron, looking for a lighter, better sole for his runners. That company became Nike, and it spent the next 50 years chasing Adidas for global dominance. The rivalry pushed both companies to innovate faster than either would have alone. In the 1980s, Nike signed a rookie basketball player named Michael Jordan, and athletic shoes stopped being just equipment. They became identity, culture, something people would wait in line overnight just to own. Two brothers who never spoke again accidentally built the template for how shoe companies still compete today. In the 1960s, NASA developed a specialized foam to protect astronauts' bodies from the force of liftoff. Decades later, an aerospace engineer named Frank Rudy pitched pressurized air pockets to a small shoe company in Oregon. They almost turned him away. That idea became one of the biggest innovations in modern athletic footwear history. The cushion under your heel right now shares its origin story with a rocket launch. From there, the running shoe became a battleground of its own, companies racing for lighter, faster, more responsive soles. Foam got softer. Materials got lighter. Marathon world records started falling faster than ever. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Modern podiatrists found that feet raised in heavily cushioned shoes often develop less natural muscle strength. The very thing shoes were invented to do, protect the foot, might be quietly making it weaker. It's the same trade humans made 40,000 years ago in a different disguise, trading sensation from the ground for protection from it. Back then, that trade probably saved lives. Today, we might just be trading comfort for a foot that slowly forgets how to do its job. Tomorrow morning, you'll put your shoes on without thinking about any of this. But underneath, 26 bones and 33 joints, shaped by 2 million years of walking barefoot, are still trying to do the job they were built for. They're just doing it through layers of rubber, foam, aerospace research, and sibling rivalry. Not bad for something you slip on without even looking down.